Hope you enjoy the crazy hair. Alright, so I made a little, did this in advance to make the videos actually shorter. Alright, the main purpose of this video is to discuss that ultimately the majority of these symbols are the exact same. They all mean the same thing over time and over peoples. Began to change their image a little bit, but we're going to discuss that. And ultimately, I'm just going to make it real simple. So first, we'll start with the alchemical or pagan symbols for the four elements. Notice the triangles. Okay? That power of three crap, right? It's a balanced shape. Anyway, without going too mystical. Triangle with the top side lopped off, like the pyramid. I should have included that one, actually. Well, dang. Messed that all up. Like the whole Illuminati eye crap, which I will have to make a video on the eye, so people know exactly what that is. But anyway, so a lot of times it's drawn like this, but sometimes the line's extended or just decapitated altogether. Now, if anybody's seen an interwoven pinnacle, that would make sense. Over, under, over, under, over, under. I don't know how good it actually shows up here. Okay? So, what you're actually seeing, without recognizing it, in the Hebrew Star of David, Star of Solomon, Merkabah, insert other names, is that this symbol is really just a combination of superimposed, that means things laying on top of each other, of the four simple elemental symbols. Air, over top of earth, over top of water, over top of fire. And just to kind of prove that really quick. Okay. Fire plus air. Okay. Add the other two in. I'm not going to take the extra time to make it perfect. Okay. Now, that leads us with the six-pointed star, right? The Merkabah. Pyramid and inverted pyramid. Okay, now what this is it's space, and I actually did this by accident because my subconscious mind jumps ahead with the number 6 for an E, since they're so similar. But a lot of this is visual learning, and it makes sense that I would do that. So you have the 6 directions of space. North, south, east, west, and vertically up and vertically down. Right? Okay. Now the circle, embryo. It represents life. It has no beginning. It has no end. A lot of people have heard that. So it ultimately is the symbol for life. Notice, therefore, that the alchemical symbol for the sun is a circle with a dot in the middle. People thought that the sun was the center of the universe, or the center of our galaxy and whatnot. You know, it brings life. So now we move on. Okay, so those are 4 symbols that make up one master symbol. Okay, we're going to do that again. But we're going to change it a little bit into 5. Represent one extra thing. In a similar way where this represented vertical up and down, we'll call 5 ether, space, essence. Okay? Now, we would need an extra point to represent that. Now, the 5-pointed pentagram, what this symbol allows us to do, in theory, is represent the ether, the sky, the substance of which we're drawing upon, and give it a direction. In this case, the upward pointed pentagram is pointing up. And as certain satanic sects would say, oh, that's so foolish, it should be pointing down to the earth to replenish her. It's actually a relatively new symbol. It used to mean like summer and winter and stuff like that before all of these things. But now we pan over, and look, here he is again. There's the circle. There's the 1, 2, 3, 4 spokes that make up what we know as the Celtic cross. Okay, it's just a cross with a circle on it. And you have north, south, east, and west being drawn in to create one whole. Again, another symbol for life. Nothing bad about this symbol. Note the wording, how I put it here, east, air. It'll make it really easy for you to remember the elements and their corresponding directions. East, air. Fire is south. West is water. Earth is north. Easter, Istara, Ishtar, Ashtar, Sharan, etc. and so on. Okay? So, but notice how close this symbol is. Pin over slightly. To the swastika. Oh my God, you can't talk about that. That's a hate symbol. Actually, it's not. It was just used by someone who might have had a very aggressive agenda. It's not in and of itself a symbol for hate. There's nothing in this that pictographs any kind of race or slaughter or anything really. In fact, it's actually an ancient Native American symbol called the Philfot, and it's a symbol for protection. And after that, it's an ancient symbol for flanking in the military. And to this day, it's a symbol of protection in Chinese temples. It'll be put up on the big banner in the Chinese temples, and one will be pointing one way, and, well, that looks horrible, but you get the idea. One will be pointed the other way. Now, if you remember the circle plus the cross, right, it's not really any different. What you're seeing is 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes it's done with a dot, sometimes not, regardless. 1, 2, 3, 4 spokes. Spinning. Spinning is very important. Look at DNA. We'll talk about all these things in crazy future videos. But spinning clockwise, spinning counterclockwise. And like the left and right hand path, right, to receive or to give, to take away from or to add, the idea was that it would push all the unwanted negative energies away from their temple as you enter it. That's where you get your Philfot, later called Swastika. Okay? So let's see, what's next, okay? You'll notice the caduceus is essentially the same symbol. The serpent, a symbol for energy, coiled at the base of the spine, right? Rising up, twisting, corkscrewing its way up, funneling its way up to the crown or to the head, Christ head, Buddha head, God head. Terms like this have been expressed over time. Wrote a little tornado to kind of give you a symbolization of energy coming in through your crown and into your body. I can't really draw very well, but the two twin serpents, you've seen these at medical industries all over the world, climbing up the staff of Moses, per se, with the wings on it. This is called the caduceus. This is a symbol for Hermes or Mercury, and it was the wand carried by this alleged messenger god. So it over time became a symbol for healing, because if this guy was coming, he came with a message, and it was often good news. Okay. All of these things ultimately tie in to studying the heavens, which back then didn't mean some ethereal mountain ground. It meant the heavens. It meant above you. It couldn't be directly observed. But, you know, even as we created the telescope and stuff like that, what I mean is, like, we couldn't get a lot of close personal facts. We were studying the L, the connecting glue of the world. And whereas we might use that word now to mean God, it's anything but, unless you count it as all things, and we can get into semantics there. But ultimately, they were referring to the heavenly bodies, the planetary bodies. And here are the alchemical planets they focus on: the Sun, the Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Uranus, and Saturn. In the future, I'm going to make a video for you of language and really break down some interesting things. You'll be unable to look at things the same. And I'll end it here to give you an idea and lead it. Saturn. There was an ancient square in, this is in Pompeii. If you've ever written Escape from Pompeii, I can't write that whole thing out in the space, but SATORROTAS, do that whole thing in a square. Keep filling in the lines, ATOR, etc. Anyway, and it will make what's called the Saturn Square, and it was one of the few surviving relics still standing after Pompeii. And they say nobody knows for sure what it means. That can imply a lot of insight. Look at how Satyr looks like Saturn. It's just one letter different, okay? Which looks like Satya, which is the Sanskrit word for truth, which is Satan, which is opposition or challenge. And we'll get into these interesting concepts in another video. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. My name is Kevin Chaos.